So I went to Lowe's. I decided to try to build my own, and we'll see how that goes. Because all of this, I should be able to build 2 of them that'll hold 16 cups each for about $100. So that's a third of the price of one. I'll let you know how this goes. So we are doing our first reptile show in September, and I needed something to both display and keep the animals professional looking and safe from theft. So I looked online, kind of found a couple of things that I liked, but shipping is kind of long on them, and they're about $300-400 for a case. So what I decided to try, we'll see together if this goes well or not, but this is my plan. So I got my deli cups laid out right here. So we're gonna have a 3x4, so 12 snakes will fit in one, or cups at least. I have a piano hinge right here that I've attached to this 1x4 right here. Actually, it's not even a 1x4, it's even smaller than that. It's a 3 8x4 by 2 feet long. So I got this piece of plexiglass. I actually got 2 of them. So that's gonna be my cover. They are 18x24. Alexa, cancel. I wanted to get 24x24, but they didn't have it. And I didn't want to get a big sheet cut, so this is what we had. So this will actually work out. I will have to cut this here a little bit. And then, of course, you can paint this if you wanted a different color. I'm either gonna go with white, or I'm just gonna keep it wood color. I don't wanna put too much product like paint on this because I'm gonna keep snakes in here. So the less fumes, the better, even though paint will be safe after a while of degassing. I just don't wanna take the chance. Also, I'm gonna drill some larger air holes, so there's air circulation inside, both in the front, in the side, and in the back. And then we'll have our light over it, so I'm not going to worry about running lights inside. So out here I have set up the bottom of it. It's going to be this cabinet backer. So I have this really nice piece that I got when I was redoing my island in the kitchen. So this is a leftover piece. You don't have to go super fancy like this. This is a little bit more expensive, but since I have it, it's free, so I'm going to use it. But you can use the cheaper version of this, or really any thin backing board. Even cardboard would be fine, or press board, not cardboard. I wouldn't use cardboard. But yeah, I'll let you know how this goes. We'll kind of go through this process together. I do have some good tools. I have this air gun I'm going to use to shoot the nails in. I'm also going to use Gorilla Glue, and I have some angle clamps to make sure that all the angles are nice and straight. And then we're going to get this ripped down and cut to size. All right, so in the front, I'm gonna have this flush mount because the sides are gonna sit on top of this board. But in the back, I actually want the plexiglass to come over this lip so I can have something to grab and lift onto. So I'm not gonna cut it the same length here. I'm actually going to bring it back probably about a 1/2 inch, so I have a little bit of extra. So I'm gonna bring it back a 1/2 inch here so I can more easily lift up the plexiglass. All right, so I just brought them both over here and I cut them at the same time. So it doesn't matter if they're exactly 17.5. What matters is that they're both exactly the same length. So that way you don't get a wonky shaped box. So I stacked them on top of each other, clamped them down, and then cut them in the same spot. So now they're the same length. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put some glue on this edge. I'm gonna put some glue on this inner edge right here. And we're using that wood glue over here and a paintbrush. And then I'm gonna use my angle tool here, which is going to hold a perfect 90°. And as it's gluing in place, using my nail gun, I'm going to drop in maybe 4 nails on the side just to hold it in place. Now, if you don't have a nail gun, you can use screws, right? But you want to use really small screws, and you want to pre-drill your holes so you don't split your wood. These are like pin nails. They're super small, shouldn't split the wood. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Right. All right, right, so here is the box. And see if there's an intelligent way to do this. There we go. All right, so this is gonna be the bottom here. And I'm gonna set the bottom on like this. Nice, fits real good. I'm gonna use some glue and then some nails. So my fan is on and it's drying my glue out super fast. So we're gonna have to move quick. All right, so I think I'm gonna put the glue on this part here. And we don't need a ton, basically in the joints. Structural integrity. Throw some in the middle. I don't want so much that it's like coming out of the edges. Well, that didn't work out. All right, and this joint. That joint. Cool. All right. I want to make sure we get the finished side in. So this is the cut side. I wrote that on there because I would mess it up otherwise. And this is the nice finished side here. So I'm going to put the finished side in. Line it up nice with all the corners. Looks good there. Good all the way around. And apply a little bit of pressure. Shot one through there. That's better. We'll pull that one out and fill it. So there we go. Now all we have to do is put on the plexiglass lid on this hinge, and I'm gonna do that by using a heat gun, not a heat gun, what is it called? A soldering iron, because I don't want to drill in it. So that's the same way I put holes in my enclosures, or my tubs, I guess, not my enclosures. Just kind of hold that soldering gun, make a little hole, that way we're not making any weak points or causing any cracks, and then I'm going to screw it on there. We'll do that here in a little bit. Alright, so I used my soldering iron. I'm going to turn it off so I don't burn down the house. And I put 4 holes corresponding to here. So I left it on top, and then I pushed the soldering iron through the hole. And then I got these small screws here. So this metric Phillips head, another metric nylon, so that way it won't back out on me. So make sure I got a nylon insert, and then washers. So I got the screws in here. I'm going to put some silicone along this line so that we have a kind of glue connection, and then we have this mechanical connection that should keep it strong when we're flipping it up and down. I'm gonna go straight through this hole right here. And there we go. All right, well, here we are. The last step is gonna be to drill a couple of air holes here in the sides. But we have the cups here. So these lids will lift up, and then the cups will go inside. Each one will hold 12 cups. And I didn't do holes for each cup because if I want to have a larger cup, like say a sub-adult or adult, that's not going to be in a 12 ounce, maybe something larger, then I'll have the space to do that in there. I did also add labels for the front, so I got these magnet labels here, got a magnet on the back, so if I got snows in here, I just drop that label on there like that. I got some other labels that say, you know, Azantic and things like that. But all right, yeah, for a couple hours of work and $100, I think it's turned out great. Like I said, I'm gonna add some air holes. I'm gonna have a lock on the back so that way only I can get into it, or the other people who are helping me at the vending. All right, so another modification I did here, just so I can have it tilted forward if I want to. Excuse the way I'm talking, I just came from the dentist, so half my face is numb. Anyway, I added some magnets to the bottom of these legs, so that way when I transport these, they're not gonna be an awkward shape. And then with the magnets on here, we just stick those on there. And then I have risers that I also 3D printed at different sizes. So this is a 1/2-inch riser, you just drop it into here, and I can get them as tall as I want. So I'm gonna print some more riser sizes. I got my air holes drilled in here, and more or less we're done now. So yep, happy with the outcome for sure. All right, so these are almost done. I have a 3D printer, so I've 3D printed this part right here, which has a lock mechanism on it, and I did a negative cut to get this here, so I have a slide in like this. So that's gonna hold this, and then this here is the lock mechanism on the back side, so it will go behind here, and then you stick in a locking pin like so, and it will keep this locked. I've also 3D printed these labels, so that way we know what's in, or not we, of course we're gonna know, but this way anyone who comes to the trade show will know, like, oh, there's toxics in here, or sables, or snows. And I put our logo here with the different colors. Thought it turned out pretty sweet looking. All right, after a whole bunch of tweaking and adding things, this is finally the finished product. So the thing I added here in the back was a handle, and this handle has a locking mechanism on it. Okay, and right here is where that locks into. So that will keep it where no one can just open it up. Just a simple little pin lock there. Also, Jermaine from Shovel Nose Hog said, you should make it tilt up. So that's actually a great idea. So what I did is, you can see we have a magnet in here, and on the bottom here I got some magnets. So these are the legs I printed. And inside this cup is different risers. Okay, so the legs, they just go, let me see if I can do this with one hand. I'll just slide it off the edge. All right, so underneath, I have the magnets. So the leg will just attach on like this. And like that. And then now we have a forward tilt on it. So that way it'll look better from here. Now also, I may have gone a little crazy with my 3D printer. But anyway, so depending on what morphs and stuff is in here, just to make it easier for people who don't maybe know so much, I decided to print some labels. Okay, so these labels are 3D printed. So if we're keeping our snows in here and we just have snows, that just sticks right there onto the magnet. Now, if for instance we have like half snows and half sables, then I just move this over and I can put the sable on there too. So now we have snows and sables, and I have all the things that we are working on currently: toxics, lavenders, leucistics, and arctic. So any combination. So toxic would also have toffee bellies and xanthics in it. Sables would also have the sunburst and the mai tais, etc. So cool. Well, I think it turned out awesome. And these right here are risers. So let's see. If I wanted it to be 2 inches taller, these risers just slide into the bottom of the leg here. Again, let's see if we can do this with one hand. There we go. So now it's taller, obviously just on that side, but yeah, they just slide in. I also printed these on my 3D printer. So now we have more of a, hold up. Sorry about that. Yeah, now we have more of a elevated situation. So if I want to get it higher. So yeah, super cool. I'm happy with it. Locks in nicely. And there we go.